Happy Monday, television family. We're back for another exciting week of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It is Monday, the 10th day of August, 2020. I am Dan Kuntz. Down the road we go. Got some good stuff for you today. Lots to touch on, lots of news to get to, lots of sports to get to. We got highlights from Saturday night at the WVSO. It was a tad windy, and by that I mean it was really, really windy, but we were able to make it all work, and it was an exciting night of racing. Once they got the track cleaned up, we fell a little behind schedule, but then we caught up, and it was a good night. It was a fun night. Anyway, we'll talk about that. Everything else you're used to. The March Against Farm Worker Exploitation is coming up this Saturday, Memorial Park here in Wenatchee. We're going to preview that in the back half of the hour. Not a bad looking weather forecast today. Things are going to change tomorrow, though. We're going to have a fire weather watch that gets going tomorrow. We're going to deal with pretty much tomorrow what we had on Saturday. We're going to have a lot of wind. We're going to have low relative humidity. Any kind of grass fires that can get going will take off. So far, we've been pretty lucky in that regard, but we're going to have to dodge another bullet again. That happens tomorrow. Complete weather forecast details are coming up. Plus, we got the obscure holiday. Mike McNally's got an opinion today in history. And some celebrity birthdays on this Monday. 64 degrees, clear skies, 52% relative humidity. What do you say we find out what's going on around here in the Wenatchee Valley? Good morning to the valley proper from our cross camera. Tilted up just a little bit, zoomed back just a little bit. Lots of beautiful blue sky. It was a cooler than normal weekend. We hit 82. That was it on Saturday. And we had sustained winds of around 30 miles an hour for about an hour and a half. We had one gust at about 7:30 on Saturday night at Pangbourne that was near 40 miles an hour. I told you it was windy. That was Saturday. Sunday's high was 86, and our normal high this time of the year is about 88. So we were a little bit below normal today. We'll be slightly above normal than that today. By the way, sunrise this morning, 5:51. Sunset tonight, 8:20. 14 hours and 29 minutes of daylight. We have lost 20 minutes of daylight over the course of the last week. We're losing about 2 minutes of daylight roughly a day, 2 minutes and 15 seconds or so of less sunshine as each day progresses, but we still got a lot of summer to go. We're nowhere near the end of summer. Camera number 2 is Megan's Choice. I look and I have to guess, and that's a no-brainer. That's the, oh me, oh my, that's the Omi Gardens camera, and a stunning view it is. In fact, if you look directly across your screen, you can see, well, you can't see the cross camera, but you can see where the cross camera is located at the tip of Wenatchee Heights, the Otobashan Bridge, the Stemilt campus. Most of the north and west side of the Wenatchee Valley is visible. Of course, East Wenatchee is kind of tucked behind Cougar Ridge there, but a beautiful view nevertheless, and the mighty Columbia rolls right along. Woody Guthrie wouldn't lie to us. Good morning to our Omi Gardens camera. Not in Omi Gardens, it's adjacent to Omi Gardens. It's a little road, a little outcropping that sticks out over there, but a great view there. Camera number 3. Hello to, I believe, is that the Waterville camera, Megan? That's the Waterville camera pointed way down towards the Wenatchee Valley. She did this, Megan did this, I think it was Friday of last week, and I was just blown away at that view. That is pretty cool, you gotta admit, and you can almost see the Omi Gardens camera. Not quite, but it's kind of there, except that you can see where Omi Gardens is, a little stack of trees, and then you go up that ridge, and at the top of that ridge sticking out is where our Omi Gardens camera is, the Wenatchee Valley way off in the distance. You can see Rocky Ridge Dam to your right, Lake Aniat, and a beautiful view there. So that Waterville camera is just spectacular. That is really cool. How would you like to live in a house right there? Well, first of all, you'd have to live in a house on a tower about 250 feet in the air. That can be hard to go walk the dog on. Camera number 4. It's off to Lake Chelan, I want to say Lower Butte. That's the Upper Butte. Okay, good work, Megan, pointing up Lake Chelan. They had a paraglider accident, by the way, at Lake Chelan. That happened on Saturday morning on the east side of the Chelan Butte. Not too far from what you're looking at there, because the paragliders and they like to take off from the Upper Butte of Lake Chelan, and they catch those updrafts and they float all over the place, but they had a fall down, go boom accident on Saturday morning. That'll be our lead story when we get to the news. Good morning to Lake Chelan. It's looking smooth right now, but by the time Friday rolls around in the summertime, it gets a little choppy. I wonder how the new parking restrictions was handled over the weekend. As you well know, the Don Morris Park and a couple of the other parks at the bottom of Lake Chelan, they were limiting parking. Basically, once the parking lot was full, that was it. No more visitors, and only residents of Chelan who could prove they lived in Chelan could actually visit the park once the parking lot was full. They did that for the first time over the weekend. I hope it went well. Hope there weren't any issues. Good morning, Lake Chelan. Good stuff this morning from Megan at 6 minutes after the hour. A couple of slides to show to you this morning. First of all, here's your 5-day outlook for this week. Take a look at good old Wenatchee town, USA. As you can see, not bad today, mid-90s, which is warmer than yesterday, 92 or so. Then we cool down on Tuesday when this fire weather watch goes into effect. And then the coolest day of the week is going to be Wednesday. As it's cool, what's going to happen is some cool air is going to sink down from Canada, and it's going to make us windy on Tuesday, and actually a little windy on Tuesday night as well before it calms down. Wednesday we'll have that cool air in the valley, so we could see overnight lows in the lower 50s on Wednesday night. It's a possibility. I don't think so. Thursday, Friday, we start warming back up again. Pretty typical August weather. Also typical for August, fire. And we have an elevated fire risk. Pretty much all of eastern Washington, as you can see from the Canadian border all the way down to the Tri-Cities. Everybody in that area that you see there is under a fire weather watch. It begins tomorrow afternoon, goes through tomorrow evening. It's not going to last very long, but for about a 6-hour period there, we're going to have very low relative humidity and pretty strong winds. Very windy conditions, especially late Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday night. So we were keeping a very close eye on that. But as you can see, almost all of eastern Washington's under that fire weather watch. Again, we've been lucky. We haven't had any significant fires get going during windy and dry conditions, and hopefully that will be the case again tomorrow. We like to work here at the NCW Life Channel, but we don't want to work that hard. We don't like covering fires. Not a big fan of that. 7 minutes after the hour, we're going to take, hello, yeah, let's do the forecast. Thanks, Megan. Duh. No brains, no headaches. We're not going to get to 97 today. It'll be more like 92, 93. Mid-60s for the overnight low tonight. Again, we start cooling down on Tuesday. The big story Tuesday afternoon is going to be the wind. Tuesday morning, not too bad. West wind about 8 to 16 miles an hour. Gusts as high as 25 miles an hour. Partly cloudy Tuesday night, breezy, 15 to 20 mile an hour northwest wind. Gusts above 30 at times until about 10 o'clock on Tuesday night. Then it starts calming down and that front leaves the area. Wednesday we'll have a few passing clouds. But cooler temperatures, as you can see, with a high of 83. This is the cool air that's coming in. Overnight lows will be in the 50s on Wednesday night. Again, cool air settling in on the valley. Then a gradual warming trend until we get to the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So there you go. Quite a bit of sunshine for everybody, but a lot of wind tomorrow. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Thanks for reminding me to do the weather forecast, Megan. It's Monday. Now we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have your Monday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live Channel.
Hi, my name is Manuel Navarro, Chief Operating Officer at Columbia Valley Community Health. Patient safety is our top priority, including providing care that just can't wait. With enhanced safety precautions, we want to ensure you that we're able to continue providing safe and efficient in-person care at our clinic. From in-car check-in, ongoing screening, immediate rooming, your family can get the safe care that they deserve here at Columbia Valley Community Health.
Pybus Public Market's motto is where community meets. Whether it's people, enjoying an event, or they meet a colleague for coffee and whip out their laptop and are able to actually do work here, having quick and reliable Wi-Fi is one of the things that makes Pybus such a great community hub. It just contributes to the welcoming place that we want Pybus to be. I'm Allie, and fiber keeps people connected, and that's what Pybus Market is all about.
Ten minutes after the hour, we have clear skies and 67 degrees, lower 90s today. Cooler and windier, quite windy on Tuesday with a fire weather watch, but quite a bit of sunshine for most of this week. And here are your Monday morning headlines. Rescuers had to navigate about a mile of steep terrain to rescue a paraglider who crashed Saturday morning on the east side of the Chelan Butte. The woman had been flying with a group of friends when she crashed. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office said she is a Chelan County resident in her 40s. She was taken by Life Flight to Central Washington Hospital with undisclosed injuries. They got the call at about 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. That's when Chelan Fire and Rescue crews descended the hillside, reached the woman, and then carried her back up the hillside to the waiting air ambulance. For the second time in less than a week, a home was hit by gunfire. This happened late Thursday night in a drive-by shooting in the Larson housing community just outside of Moses Lake. A Grant County Sheriff's deputy on patrol heard the shots just before midnight. Then the homeowner called to report that their house in the 1000 block of Northwest Lane had been shot at. Investigators found seven bullet holes in the house, but nobody was injured. Now, the previous Sunday, 2 homes less than a mile away were hit by gunfire, and the suspect's car crashed into a parking lot while fleeing the scene. By the way, no arrests have been made in either shooting. 8 fitness centers in the Yakima area and a tanning salon in Kennewick were fined last week by the state for operating in violation of Governor Jay Inslee's Safe Start orders. The fines total more than $77,000 for the fitness centers and $9,639 for the tanning salon. Anytime Fitness in Sela was fined for the second time by L&I. That business has appealed its July 1st fine. Slide Waters Water Park in Chelan is the only other business in the state that's been fined by L&I. That $9,639 fine has also been appealed. L&I's Tim Church said the department isn't necessarily stepping up its enforcement of Inslee's order in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, but following a process that takes some time. Church said Friday that when the department receives complaints, the potential violators are contacted by phone or email, and then they're issued a cease and desist order. If they still refuse to comply, an investigation is opened. He said most businesses stop voluntarily. Okanagan County got a lot of attention last week with its newfound cases of COVID-19 that made it the epicenter of the pandemic in Washington state. But Okanagan Public Health Director Lori Jones says the same increased testing that identified the county as a hotspot is going to help her agency get on top of the virus, and the effort will continue this week.
Well, our incidence rates are starting to come down. I haven't looked today, but people have to keep in mind that the only area we've done community-wide testing is in the Brewster area, which is agricultural. We will be starting next week bringing in a mobile testing unit. So everyone, the rumor is, oh no, the National Guard's coming in. Well, they offered, we have a mobile testing unit we've been looking at with the State Emergency Operations Center run by the Guard, and our own homegrown Randy Robbins, who's a PA, he's also in the Guard, will be heading up that effort. We're gonna do testing all over Okanagan County and see if we can't get our incidence rate down. But we're excited about those efforts, and because we don't want to be number one. We also know that we got testing late. So I was requesting testing in March just to test suppression theory. But of course, there weren't enough tests in the state at that time, and they needed to be in those high prevalence areas of King and Snohomish counties. So we're finally getting our just day to do testing.
Students across north central Washington will be starting school, of course, remotely in the coming weeks, but when they actually get a chance to return to their buildings, daily at-home health checks will be recommended before starting each school day. That's why Cascade School District and the Cascade Medical Center in Leavenworth want each student household to have a thermometer on hand. Fever is often an early symptom of COVID-19, so a fundraising drive is on to help raise $3,000 to buy and distribute 1,000 home thermometers in partnership with Upper Valley Mend. If you'd like to donate, you can make your contribution through the Cascade Medical Foundation's Facebook page. Robert G. Wilson, the East Wenatchee painter and supporter of the arts here in the Wenatchee Valley, passed away. Wilson, an author as well as an artist, grew up in the Northwest, lived in New York City and elsewhere before settling in East Wenatchee with his wife Carla in 2012. He was also known, of course, for being the father of popular actor Rainn Wilson, who starred in the TV series The Office. Last year, he discussed his inspirations in a profile on the NCAA Life magazine.
In the January 17th, 1960 issue of Time magazine, they had a spread, a layout of paintings by Frank Stella. And someone threw it at me and said, hey, look at this. And I opened it up and looked at that. And all of a sudden it clicked that art wasn't just about rendering or painting objects. It was about painting ideas. And then I could see art in a whole new light. And you look at painters like Edvard Munch, where he paints all this emotion. It's as deep and emotional as a Dostoevsky novel. And painters exploring these various human ideas. And that made me very excited, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to explore, I wanted to come up with ideas that were beautiful, that were thoughtful, that meant something. I really look at the human race as there's just one culture, the human culture. We all participated, and we have since at the beginning of time. We all sing, we all dance, we all make poetry. We all run around in circles, we make masks, we do everything. And this is of the human culture. An artist is a part of that human culture. And when the civilizations and the politicians and the educational institutions all fade away, what's left? The art and the architecture of the people that created things. And that's what I want to be a part of, and that's what motivates me, is to explore these various ideas.
Wilson died last Monday at Central Washington Hospital after complications from heart surgery. He was 78 years old. Still some ballots left to count, but it appears Republican Jesse Jensen is going to be Kim Schreier's opponent in the November election for the 8th congressional seat. After Tuesday's primary election count, Jensen led fellow Republican Keith Swank by only 58 votes in the 5-county district. But as more ballots were counted, Jensen's lead grew to 1,080 votes on Wednesday, 2,421 votes on Thursday, and 4,904 votes by Friday. Schreier, of course, who flipped the seat to the Democrats back in 2018, easily outdistanced all the other candidates in the primary ballot as she seeks a second term. And finally, on this Monday, Chelan County is exploring ways to adopt to climate change, and you can contribute to that plan. The Climate Resilience Workshop takes place remotely on Wednesday with an overview of the county's draft strategy to mitigate climate impacts related to wildfire, water supply, floods, snowpack, and stream flow. The project is being coordinated through the county's Natural Resources Department. You can register through Eventbrite at the address that you see on your screen. The Zoom workshop starts at 10 a.m. on Wednesday. And that is a look at what's making headlines at 18 minutes after the hour. We'll be back with another newscast for you tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Eric Grandstrom handles sports. Grant Olson is a weather guy, and, well, he just tells you what the forecast is. He can't control the weather. He's got a lot of power. He's not that powerful. He's also the anchor. And with the preview, here's Grant.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, we'll have the latest on Governor Jay Inslee's Safe Start COVID-19 plan. All of your much warmer north central Washington weather forecasts, and Eric Grandstrom will be in with more on that press conference interview with Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf. That and all the day's news coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope you'll join us then. Dan?
I make a point to watch it. By the way, don't forget, you're not stuck at 5, 6, or 10. You can watch it on your smart device. We'll have it up and running on our website right around 5 o'clock. You can click the link on our website. We also post it on our Facebook page for a link there, so you can watch it on your smart device if you so desire. And if you have a news tip or you want to drop us a note, give us a news tip. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com, news@ncwlife.com. You can also go to our Facebook page and drop us a line via Facebook Messenger. You can pick up the telephone and call us at the number that you see at the bottom of your screen, or if you go to our homepage, ncwlife.com, you'll see the Contact Us icon at the top of the screen. Fill it out, push send, and down the road you go. 20 minutes after the hour, when we come back, we got highlights from a great night of racing Saturday night at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. We survived the wind, but it was close. Sports is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Dr. Wayne Latimer's Integrative Chiropractic Clinic and Rehab now offers more services. If you've been injured on the job, in an auto accident, have a sports injury, call today and try his wraparound services. Latimer Chiropractic Clinic has added a physician's assistant and a naturopath to their medical lineup. From needing stress relief from a busy life to looking at core health issues, stop by Latimer's Integrative Chiropractic Clinic on Mission, where they are committed to doing more so you can too.
Back out in the 21 minutes after the hour, let's do sports. The winds of change were blowing through the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval on Saturday night. Checkered flags flew for new names in all but one of the races at the high-banked quarter-mile track in East Wenatchee. Just as our broadcast began, we had a 30-minute delay. They had oil on the track during the qualifying, which would be a theme through the early portion of the racing. But once they actually got to the racing that counts, it was pure adrenaline and a lot of fun. We began with the Bandoleros. We wrap up the night with the Pro Late models. Eric Granstrom and Greg Rentz had the call Saturday night right here on the NCW Live channel.
Mullins taking a peek to the inside, gets a run. J.J. Mullins getting the lead at Wenatchee. But tonight, it's J.J. Mullins' night in the number 11. Back-to-back wins, and he gets it done here. Checker flag is out. Mullins wins. Oler's second, Hamlin third.
This has been fun out here racing with all these people. The first lap went under the guy in first. Went under him. We got a little bit loose. Didn't see me there. Went under the white line. We got back to the back, but we made it back to the front.
We should mention 3 ladies in our main event tonight.
Yeah, versus Evan in the 22 as gets the race lead though in the number 22. Fastest lap of the race for that number 22 of Evan Getz. Win number 4 on the season is going to go to Evan Getz in the 22. It's a race for second, and it's going to be Kaden Moran holding on. Danica Dart rounds out the podium.
Yeah, the car felt really good tonight, and I hope it stays like that.
Well, it was hooked up all night. You have been the dominant car in the series. 4 wins on the season, and you now have one at all 3 tracks that the series goes to. So how does it feel being able to run one of these cars like this?
It feels really good, and I hope I can race with the Pro Lates next year or maybe in 2 years.
Hold them off through 3 and 4. Win number 3 on the season. Seth Frazier still undefeated in main event action. Wins at Wenatchee. Garrett Huff finds second. Contact, and around goes Doyle.
Doyle goes around, and third place is going to go to Mike Sims. Holy cow.
Well, yeah, it was a fun race. You know, Garrett's one of the best upcoming drivers in Northwest and one of the best Pro Late Model drivers around, so it was fun getting into battle against him, and it was a good night of racing.
Seth, another win for you. That makes 3 on the season, and this car really seems to treat you well.
Yeah, it's a really good car. It was, you know, built by some of the best guys that build race cars, and should have a good rest of the year.
Navarrete inside goes Norman. They touch. Still touching there through turn 3. Contact all the way through turn 3 and 4. Norman inside. Navarrete outside. And give it to Norman, the Yakima driver. Here comes Lawson back on the outside. Norman gets the win. It's a drag race for 3rd, and Brandon Knopf's gonna hold on.
It was fast. It's fast, and I'd like to thank Myra Z and Bad Thing with JC Wofford, and we're here for you guys, so we're here.
James, first time here at Wenatchee. How do you like it?
Oh, it's fun. I'm coming back for sure, so we'll be here.
8 laps to go. He's peeking low. He's got to run once, and they crash.
Oh my gosh.
Woods got loose. They connect, and Gary Holmad is going to inherit the race lead.
Glenn Knutsen's night is done. We'll see if Jake Woods can continue.
Oh my goodness.
Morrison giving it all he can, coming up to turn 3.
Right on the bumper, white flag, 1 to go, they touch. Holmad slides. Can Morrison get there? He's gonna have one final shot going into turn 3. He's taking the peek inside. Get to the bumper. Holmad's going to hold on and get the win. Gary Holmad holds on. And Morrison goes around at the line, but he still finishes second.
Man, what a night. My guys, Corey and the guys are just awesome. They just keep plugging at this. We're really probably 6th, 7th place car, and we just tinker with it and make it go faster.
Gary, when you're in third and then all of a sudden something like that happens and the top 2 are wrecked out and all of a sudden you find yourself in the lead, in a duel with Brad Morrison, what goes through your head on that caution when you're like, oh gosh, all of a sudden I'm in the race lead with 9 to go?
Well, it's good to be lucky for sure, but you got to put yourself in the position when the luck happens, then you take advantage of it and you end up in first place.
Congratulations to Gary. Once again, here's a rundown from Saturday night's action to the Les Schwab scoreboard we go. Jordan Mullins and Wenatchee is winning the Bandolero main event. Riker Olaf Prosser was second. Oregon City's James Hamlin got third. Okanagan's Evan Getz grabbed the checkered flag in the Mountain Dew Junior late models. Kennewick's Caden Moran was second. Afreda's Danica Dart finished third. For the third time this season, the winner of the Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning Thunder Car, East Wenatchee's Seth Frazier. Sela's Garrett Huffines took second, and East Wenatchee's Mike Sims was third. Yakima's James Norman drove around the field of Plum Perfect Roadrunners. He got first. Wenatchee's Jared Ingram second. Arlington's Matt Lawson finished third. And after a wreck with 9 laps to go, as you saw, that wreck took out Jake Woods and Glenn Knutson. Gary Homad won in his home track for the first time since 2009. Moses Lake's Brad Morrison took second. Quincy's Michael Knutson takes third. We'll be back at it at the WVSO on August 22nd. You got the Northwest Focus Midget Series, the Thunder Cars, the Roadrunners, and the B Modifieds all scheduled to race. Our cameras, we will be there. Mariners snapped a 3-game losing streak on Sunday with a nice little 5-3 win over the Colorado Rockies at T-Mobile Park. Justice Sheffield dominated on the mound. He went 6 innings. He allowed no runs, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, earned his first win of the season. Sheffield got some help in the bottom of the first from left fielder Dylan Moore.
Crack deep out to right field. Blackman having to chase after it. Blackman looking up, and this is gone for a home run. Number 3 on the season for Dylan Moore. And right away, the Mariners get on the board. 2-0, 2 batters into the Mariners' first inning.
Yeah, this is the second opposite field home run for him this year. His 3rd overall, exit velo of 102, 371 feet. Mariners off to a fast start.
I was just enjoying the home run. Sunday's quick start offensively was in sharp contrast to what happened on Saturday at T-Mobile Park. Rocky reliever Jeff Hoffman and 3 other pitchers combined for just 1 hit. A 1-hit shutout of Seattle in Colorado's 5-0 victory. Again, this was on Saturday. J.P. Crawford was the only Mariner to get a hit with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. Things didn't go much better Friday. Colorado won the first game of the series 8-4. Austin Nola and Kyle Seager each contributed a couple of hits. UC Kikuchi lasted 5 2/3. Charlie Blackmon was going to hate leaving Seattle. The veteran right fielder was 8 for 11 over the weekend with 4 home runs, 4 RBIs, a home run, and 2 doubles. Seattle begins the first of 3 games. They'll be in Texas tonight, 6:05. Justin Dunn will take on Kyle Gibson. We have some Seahawk news for you on this Monday morning. Cornerback Quentin Dunbar, a day after robbery charges were dropped against him, was removed from the commissioner's exempt list. This is according to Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network, and that means that he can join his teammates in training camp. And for the first time, the Seahawks have a player on the reserve COVID-19 list. Second-year wide receiver John Ursua was placed on that list on Sunday. Seattle was previously one of 6 teams that hadn't had a player on the reserve COVID-19 list since training camp began 2 weeks ago. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 30 minutes after the hour on this Monday. I had 4 obscure holidays to choose from. I like it when I get a choice. Today is National S'mores Day. Today is National Connecticut Day. I have no clue why. Today is National Shapewear Day, but no, it's Lazy Day. Yeah, it's Lazy Day. Happy National Lazy Day, yeah. If you're a slacker, a couch potato, or a loafer, this day is for you. Now remember, if you work too hard to plan out your lazy day, you don't get the spirit of the holiday, you're doing it all wrong. I got a hold of the guy who came up with the idea of Lazy Day. I asked him the history of Lazy Day, and he said I was just too lazy. I didn't bother to write it down. So just kick back and do nothing. But even when you kick back and do nothing, you're still doing something in that regard. I mean, most people who are just feeling lazy will go down to the park and sit under the shade tree and read a book or watch a movie, or you're still doing something. You don't just stare at the wall. At least I don't, anyway. Happy Lazy Day, always on August 10th. Lazy days should definitely be in the middle of August, a lazy month if there ever was one. Today in history, people who write books about management and businesses and things like that, they have a saying. It's called the Vasa Syndrome. Basically, it's how not to organize a successful business. And it comes from what happened on this date 392 years ago when the warship Vasa, ordered by the King of Sweden to be built on its maiden voyage in Stockholm Harbor, made it about 390 feet from shore and sank. Just whoop, right over she go. When she was built, she was without question the most powerfully armed vessel on the planet. The problem is the bottom of it, the ballast, basically they didn't have any. The store at the bottom of it. It didn't think too much about that. And they put all this heavy guns and cannons on top of it. So they had way too much weight in the upper part of the hull of the ship. They told the king that. They said, this isn't really, but it took them 2 years to build it. The king said, I don't care. It's going to be fine. Go sail it. So they took it out in Stockholm Harbor, and it wasn't even much of a breeze. It was barely anything, but the sails were up, and they started to list. And the ports where the cannons were pointed out, they were just open. You know, they weren't sealed, and sure enough, it got so the water started flowing into the open gun ports, and over she went. They found her, by the way, a number of years later. The museum that houses the remains of the Vasa is the most visited tourist attraction in all of Sweden. And it sank 20 minutes after it left the harbor on its maiden voyage. The hubris of man strikes again. That happened on this date in 1628. Mail runs a little slow in the 18th century, and on August 10, 1776, 244 years ago today, word reaches London that the United States has written the United States Declaration of Independence, and they have declared war essentially on Great Britain. So it happened on July 4th. They didn't get word about it until August 10th. Again, mail runs a little slow back in 1776, so King George got the word. They did what? They're going to do what? Okay, well, here we go. Mail a little slow then. Happy birthday to the Show Me State. Missouri is 199 years old today. Missouri, it doesn't really matter. Missouri was admitted as the 24th state of the Union on this date, August 10th, 1821. Of course, it is known as the Show Me State. Missouri is one of those many states in the Midwest and in the upper Midwest that has lost votes in the Electoral College. At one point, just before the Great Depression, Missouri had 18 votes in the Electoral College. They're down to 10. And after this census, they'll probably be down to 9. Missouri has the most permissive alcohol laws in the Union. Virtually any retail business can sell alcohol of any kind. I mean, they sell alcohol in dry cleaning stores and everywhere. I'm not talking beer, I'm talking alcohol. In Missouri, there are no open container laws in the state of Missouri, except if you're actually driving the vehicle. So if you and your buddies want to go out on a Saturday night, the driver cannot have an open container. The other 9 guys in the car can in the state of Missouri. There are no laws prohibiting drinking in public in the state of Missouri, and Missouri has no laws prohibiting public intoxication. We love Missouri. Happy 199th birthday to Missouri. And happy birthday to the Smithsonian Institution, born in the state 174 years ago today. His name was James Smithson. He was a scientist from Great Britain. He loved America, and he gave America $500,000 to start the Smithsonian Institution. It's known as the nation's attic because they store all kinds of cool stuff there. I've been to the Smithsonian. It's really, really neat. They get 30 million on a regular year, a non-COVID-19 year. About 30 million people visit the Smithsonian Institution every year. And how much does it cost to visit the museum? Nada. Nothing. It's free. And it's 174 years old today. And James Smithson, the guy who gave the money, never, ever once visited America, ironically enough. Finally, we got some birthdays for you. He's a mover and a groover, and his name is Herbert Hoover. He was the 31st president of the United States, born on this date in 1874, lived a very long life, lived to the age of 90, died in 1964. He was the only elective office he ever held in his life was president. Most historians agree he was one of the worst presidents ever. His heart was in the right place. He just had no political instinct whatsoever. And when the Great Depression came, he was like, oh, which was sad because he was actually a pretty good public servant. Fun facts about Herbert Hoover. He was the first president born west of the Mississippi. And he was the 31st president. Yeah, the first 30 presidents were all born basically along the eastern seaboard. That's hard to believe. Herbert Hoover became a multimillionaire as a mining engineer. His wife was also a mining engineer. He was one of the richest men ever to assume the office of the presidency. After the presidency, he was appointed by Harry Truman to be the chairman of the reorganization of the executive branch, which he did and did very well. And he was appointed by President Eisenhower, a fellow Republican, to do it again in the 1950s. Believe it or not, Herbert Hoover really liked Harry Truman and he couldn't stand Dwight Eisenhower. And for the final 20 years of Herbert Hoover's life, he lived in a penthouse suite at the Waldorf Astoria in New York City. Herbert Hoover, born on this date in 1874, somewhat maligned as a president, I think anyway. Bad timing. If I only had a heart. Jack Haley, born on this date in 1897. You know him all as the Tin Man in the classic movie The Wizard of Oz. Died in 1979 at the age of 80. Of course, he was the second guy cast as the Tin Man. Buddy Ebsen was the first. Buddy Ebsen was allergic to the makeup. Buddy Ebsen was hospitalized. Jack Haley got the gig. Jack Haley said the costume, the Tin Man costume that he had to wear during the filming was the most uncomfortable thing anybody could ever possibly wear, ever. He said, everybody looked like you were having a great time making that movie. He said, nonsense. It was work and it was hard work. But we love Jack Haley, the Tin Man, born in the state in 1897. Leo Fender, born in the state in 1909, died in 1991 at the age of 81. The founder of Fender Musical Instruments Incorporated, the inventor of the Fender Telecaster, which was the first solid body electric guitar, and will go down in rock and roll history as the inventor of the Fender Stratocaster, the world's most popular electric guitar. All the great rock and roll electric guitarists all played the Fender Stratocaster. And believe it or not, Leo Fender was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he should have been, in 1992. It was a unique achievement in that Leo Fender, even though he invented the Telecaster and the Stratocaster, never learned to play the guitar. But he's a rock and roll legend. He was born in the state in 1909. Jimmy Dean, the founder of the Jimmy Dean Sausage Company. Of course, he had a big hit song in the early 1960s with Big Bad John. And then he went on to found the Jimmy Dean Sausage Company in 1969, sold it for a whole bunch of money to the Consolidated Foods Corporation in 1984, which is now owned by Sara Lee. His commercials are still on TV, even though he's been dead for 10 years. Jimmy Dean, born in the state in 1928, died in 2010. And one half of the Righteous Brothers, Bobby Hatfield, was born in the state in 1940, would have been 80 years old today, died of coronary artery disease in 2003 at the age of 63. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame class of 2003. Bobby Hatfield, of course, without question, best known as the guy who sang Unchained Medley. Of course, now the Righteous Brothers, Bobby Hatfield and Bill Medley, had an agreement for their albums. Each of the Righteous Brothers, Bobby and Bill, were allowed one solo song per album. They both wanted to sing Unchained Medley as their solo. They flipped a coin. Bobby Hatfield won. Bobby Hatfield became a legend because of that, and we miss him. 40 minutes after the hour, going to take a break. Mike McNaughty has an opinion coming your way, and then we're going to preview the March Against Farm Workers Exploitation It's an important subject. It's this Saturday at Memorial Park in Wenatchee. We'll preview that when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
I work in healthcare, and we give all of our employees free Works memberships. Why? Because health is important to us. And when people are healthier, they're better at their jobs, but they're also better at life. And that's who we are, and that's who Works is. Works is not just a gym. It's a place, it's an organization that actually celebrates health.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
Is search engine optimization right for my business? Maybe. Studies show the first and second search results get 50% of all the clicks. But you have to fight national chains to get there. If the user has to scroll down to find you, tough luck. You could hide a dead body on page 2 and the whole zombie apocalypse on page 3. Or you could spend less and get an ad in the Impact Big Print phone book, giving local businesses a chance to shine.
Impact Directories. Bigger print, better book.
JDSA Law is a proud sponsor of these local sports broadcasts. They've been serving North Central and Eastern Washington since 1946. For over 70 years, their team of dedicated professionals has delivered quality, innovative legal services. JDSA Law partners with you to provide the finest legal advice and support as you navigate your personal and business challenges, risks, and accomplishments. At JDSA Law, they salute our local athletes and wish them well on another excellent season of competition. Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around North Central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
Building. It's in our blood. Building something out of nothing. It takes heart, grit, and hard work. At One Way Construction, our crew is our family. With decades of contracting experience and our in-house design team, we bring a unique perspective to building. We know that if we work together, we are capable of reaching heights that are impossible to reach alone. The possibilities are endless.
And we're back at 44 minutes after the hour, the summer of COVID-19. It's also been the summer of social justice with major local demonstrations, including Black Lives Matter. Now, after a series of rallies down in the Columbia Basin, the March Against Farm Worker Exploitation arrives here in Wenatchee on Saturday, August 15th. 26-year-old Eduardo Cardenas of Quincy is a political candidate for the 13th Legislative District. He's also an organizer of the demonstrations, and he spoke with our very own Jefferson Robbins.
I am the son of formerly undocumented farm-working parents who came from Mexico in the 1980s. So they came to Quincy as teenagers to work in the fields, and so that's my background. And then when I was 14 years old, I also began working in the fields here in Washington, picking up rocks and then picking blueberries, cherries, and apples throughout the summers of college. And this past year, I went to law school, and I got accepted for an internship with the Northwest Justice Project as a farm worker justice fellow for the summer of 2020, which we are in right now. And that was 1 month prior to the COVID-19 outbreak in the United States of America. And now we see that 3 weeks ago, farm workers are dying in Okanagan County out of Gebbers Farms and Okanagan and Brewster, Washington. These growers are asking, they were giving a 15-person maximum per housing unit, And they from the records request that we did through our job that I was analyzing, they were asking for a variance to increase to 23 or 24 or 25. They're trying to increase the capacity of these units, knowing that less social distancing would mean more COVID-19 outbreak, more contagion. As we saw when I was on the strike lines down in Yakima in May, they weren't even providing the PPE. They were selling the PPE to their employees, the masks, the face coverings, they were selling them for $5 a piece. And it just became a bubble in my head. You know, I'm like, this is wrong. I put my job to the side, I put my campaign to the side, and I really like, what is the right thing to do? The right thing to do is to bring awareness to this issue. Farm workers are dying. They're not being given the proper protections, the proper social distancing mechanisms. The highest rates of COVID-19 have been from process workers, from meat packing workers, from agricultural workers. And I found it to be my moral duty as a person who comes from this background, not as a politician, but as a human, to use my platform to bring attention to these issues. And it's working.
When you have talked to folks who were working in packing houses, working in the fields, have they felt like they can access resources to make up for what they're not being given, or are they just kind of between a rock and a hard place, trying to keep a job, do a job, and stay healthy?
The main issue was the lack of communication between employers and employees. There's been cases here in Quincy as well, in Quincy Foods, for example, where people have been COVID-19 positive, but it's been a secret throughout the company. People find out through the grapevine that their colleagues are infected with COVID-19, and how frustrating must it be to already be aggravated by being a low-income worker, living paycheck to paycheck, and then finding out that your company is literally not trying their hardest to keep you alive. It's really upsetting. And it's even them, those workers who are, like my parents, are union workers. Now we see farm workers who are temporary workers with not even the linguistic capabilities to defend themselves or societal connections to our region. They're treated as indentured servants. They are brought and they are exploited. They don't know their rights, and they're being taken advantage of. They are being treated as less than worthy of having rights, less than worthy of having the dignity of being treated the same as their white American counterparts. And it's been they've been treated differently by our state representatives, and they're out there trying to feed their families, but they require basic protections, and they weren't being offered that. So we had to make some noise, and here we are talking to you.
If people are driving by on the 15th and they see your signs, see your activity, or approach you and want to talk about what you're doing, what's the key lesson or the key thought that you'd like people to come away with?
First, if people come by, I want them to hear the stories, the testimonials from farm workers and the children of farm workers, to appreciate where their food comes from, to stop and think, how are these farm workers coping with COVID-19? What can we do to protect them at the legislative and at the state and federal level? And I want them to become activists in their own right for farm workers.
Hello, this is Dr. Glenn Poey, letting you know that we are open and seeing our current patients and also looking forward to seeing new ones here at 620 North Emerson, Suite 300. Look forward to making you feel your best.
When you or your family's physical health is compromised and you need medical supplies, Value Plus Medical Supply is where you turn for solutions. All of our staff has a medical background assuring you the highest quality of customer service. Stop by Value Plus today.
Join us for Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel. This former police sergeant is plugged into not only the world of the streets, he's an actor and connoisseur of the arts. So join Mike and his guests for, well, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mondays at 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m., and Wednesdays at 5:30. It's Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel.
At Harvest Valley Pest Control, we know you are committed to making your home and business a healthy and pest-free place. Hi, I'm David. Give us a call and we'll give you a firm price over the phone and schedule a time that works for you. We will do an in-depth 30-point healthy home or business inspection and craft a customized plan of action designed specifically for your pest issue. Give us a call or visit our website today.
No calories, no sweeteners, all smiles. Bubbly, sparkling water. Crack a smile.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, I'm a regular churchgoer. Yeah, good for me, right? But sometimes I run into people who used to go to church, but they don't anymore, and I ask them why. And they often say something like this: I had to miss church for 3 weeks in a row, and no one called me to see if I was okay. Now, my response to them is, why do you think people go to church? They're specifically looking for you. Sure, it would be nice if we noticed other people or the lack of them more than we care about ourselves, but come on, really. Blaming other people for your deciding not to go to church is kind of lame, don't you think? This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Green Motion e-bikes have rolled into Wenatchee. We've got fun, affordable e-bikes for the whole family. Portable e-bikes that fit right in the trunk of your car. Fat tire mountain bikes plus unique vintage style bikes you won't find anywhere else. Get some exercise with pedal assist or just cruise up to 20 miles per hour with the throttle. Starting under $1,000, Green Motion e-bikes are affordable fun for the whole family. Green Motion e-bikes is located right downtown on the corner of Palouse and Wenatchee Avenue.
Highlander Grill and Golf Course is known as one of the finest wedding venues in the Wenatchee area. You do not have to be a member to come to Highlander. Highlander Golf Course offers a first-class backdrop for your wedding day. Our friendly professional staff will ensure your wedding and reception is picture perfect, from every moment leading up to the I do's to when the lights go down at the end of your reception. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
Sorrento's restaurant at Chelan Cellars provides a unique dining experience. The dining room provides a spectacular view of the Lake Chelan Valley. Lunch and dinner are served daily, and the weekend brunch is something that must be experienced and won't soon be forgotten. From the menu to the music, nothing is overlooked. At Sorrento's, you will always be impressed, especially when you discover how close and how affordable luxury can be. It's all within your reach at Sorrento's at Chelan Cellars.
This November, the lives of millions of unborn children are at stake in elections across our country. Before you vote, find out which candidates support life and which support abortion, the taking of an innocent life in the womb. Remember, an unborn baby's heart starts to beat at just 6 weeks. Wenatchee Right to Life supports life from conception to natural death. Join us. Vote for life.
back. 67 degrees in the Wenatchee Valley. We'll be in the lower 90s today. Complete forecast details are going to come your way, but we have a minute or two, so let's take one more quick little tour around the Wenatchee Valley now that the sun has really begun to make its presence felt, as I mentioned at the top of the hour. We've lost about 20 minutes of daylight in the last week. Sunrise this morning was at 5:51, sunset 8:20 tonight. That's 14 hours and 29 minutes of daylight. Last Monday, August 3rd, we had 14 hours and 49 minutes of daylight. So although the days are getting shorter, we have a lot of summer to go. Beautiful view of the Wenatchee Valley, not a cloud in the sky. It's going to be a lovely, lovely day today. Pretty much a mirror of yesterday, just a few degrees warmer. It was a chilly weekend as far as temperatures were concerned. It was below normal on Saturday with a high of only 82. Very windy on Saturday afternoon and Saturday night. Trust me on that one at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. And then Sunday's high was 86 degrees, but we'll be in the 90s today. Good morning, Wenatchee Valley. Camera number 2. I think we're using the same camera. Oh, no. Megan has moved the cameras on us. That's still the Olney Gardens camera. That's the one we used about an hour ago, but Megan has decided to point it up the Columbia River, the Rocky Reach Dam. Just a couple of spill gates look open now. Of course, about a month ago, they had a lot of spill gates open as we continue to get the influx of melted snow from up in British Columbia. Not quite the case anymore. Things are looking good. Mighty Columbia, Lake Antioch, the Baker Flats Industrial Park just out of your view to the right. Looks like the camera's moving just a little bit. Looks like it might be a little breezy on that outcropping above Olney Gardens. Camera number 3 is back up to Waterville, I believe, Megan. Looking over the beautiful plateau. Gorgeous view there. Hi, Waterville. How are you? The waving wheat is hanging in there, growing good. We love our friends up at the plateau. Waterville is one of my favorite towns, and it's a super friendly town. That's what I like about Waterville. Anytime you go up there, everybody just seems to really like living in Waterville. And who's kidding who? It's always a couple of degrees cooler if you don't like the heat, and lots of trees. It's like Mayberry, except they don't have prohibition in Waterville. Thank goodness for that. Camera number 4, I believe it's back up to Lake Chelan. Is that the Butte camera? And she's pointed it, I believe, well, it's obviously towards the Cascades. I don't know the exact direction that Megan has decided to point that, but that is a beautiful view. It's at the top of the hour, we had that looking at Lake Wenatchee from the top of Chelan Butte. Of course, that's where they had that paraglider accident on Saturday morning with that Chelan County woman in her 40s, we're told. Hopefully she's recovering nicely at Central Washington Hospital. Don't know the extent of her injuries this morning. Beautiful view. All of these courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless. You know what that means. If you can see any of our towers, we got about 75 of them, not only in the Wenatchee Valley, but all over North Central Washington and out of the Columbia Basin. If you can have line of sight from wherever it is that you want your internet to a tower, you might be eligible. Give Localtel a call. A couple of slides to show for you. First of all, our 5-day outlook. Warmer today, a little bit cooler on Tuesday. We're going to have some cold air coming down from Canada. The high-pressure ridge has already begun the process of moving. It's basically over central Idaho. It's going to start shoving itself eastward, and that's going to allow a weak system to come in on Tuesday. Not going to last very long, but for a good period, for a short period of time on Tuesday afternoon to Tuesday night, it's going to be very windy indeed. So it's going to usher in some cool air on Wednesday, as you can see. Then we warm back up on Thursday and Friday. But once again, we have a fire weather watch. This is something we're used to this time of the year. Everybody in that highlighted area, essentially all of eastern Washington, all the way to the Idaho border, down below to the Oregon border, and up to the Canadian border, everybody is dealing with a fire weather watch because it's going to be windy for pretty much everyone. Very gusty late Tuesday afternoon and evening. You combine that with low relative humidity, and that's where we have an elevated fire risk. So far, we haven't had any fires break out during the windy and dry conditions. Hopefully that winning streak will continue, all right? From the National Weather Service, let's take a look at what we got for you. Sunshine today, 97 I think is a bit too optimistic. I'm thinking more like 92 or 93. Clear skies tonight, 65 for the overnight low. That looks about spot on. A little bit cooler on Tuesday. The big story tomorrow, we mentioned this, it's going to be windy. It'll start out with a west wind about 8 to 16 miles an hour, gusts up near 25 miles an hour, close to sunset. And then Tuesday night, it's going to be windier still as the last remnants of this cold front comes in. And we'll get down to 62, and then we heat right back up again for the rest of the week. And that's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.